It's all about quality and quantity on Brewsday Tuesday. Here is Huck and Big Nate.
Foamer.
Brewsday Tuesday brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store. It's a foamer.
It's a foamer.
Still hazy.
It's hazy.
From last week's show.
Hazy and foamy from last week's show.
Trying to force the issue with Mother Nature. Summery, springy beers.
We're going to demand it. We're demanding it. We're going to protest.
I'm holding in my hand the Stone Never Ending Haze IPA. And so this is a 4% ABV. I've not drank it. I've not even poured it yet. And already, based on the label, I have a point of frustration, a bugaboo that I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
So if you're going to make an IPA, why would you go 4%?
Because you don't know your customer.
Well, I mean, Stone has very much so been accused of not caring what anyone thinks.
That's true. So.
You know, that's fine, I guess, but I don't know. We'll see how it tastes. We'll find out on the back end.
I have an answer. I mean, it may or may not be correct, as many of my answers may or may not be, but I think it's that these Stone would be a good example. Certain brewers don't want to make a seltzer, and they think that the reason people are drinking seltzers is because they have less alcohol than a big IPA. Now, that being said, they have more alcohol than a regular beer. They're 5%. But that's not why. But they just don't get it. And when they make a seltzer, they make it all thick and heavy. And that's
seltzers are lower calories.
Right. Less filling.
Less hangover.
Less hangover. They're light. They're
easy drinking.
Low carb. Listen to this word. Low carb. You know anybody on a low carb diet?
Several people.
Yeah, me included. I'm not good at it. Just had French fries, but no,
and beer.
I have to have beer. It's my job, once a week.
And that's, you know what? That's fair. I'll allow it.
Okay, and I usually drink one other night a week.
That's why I eat Philly cheesesteaks
for work.
For work,
because you want to talk about Philly.
It's the fuel of champions.
So anyway, that was that. So this, you're drinking the Stone. This one's 8.5%. Bingo Beer Company. You know that song? There was a farmer had a dog. Bingo was his name-o. Whose name? The farmer or the dog? See, that's going to change the way you listen to that song from now on.
There was a farmer who had a dog. Bingo was his name-o.
Because he didn't really say the dog was a male, right? That's not said. If the dog,
I think, okay, so
the dog's a female.
We'll do it this way. I think Queen's English, farmer's name.
I do too. I think proper grammar, farmer's name.
The way we speak English, it's the dog's name.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment. And that's a fun little interesting tidbit if you're into the study of languages. The Appalachian accent is much more similar to what Shakespeare would have been speaking than the current Queen's English, as you would state it.
You know how to make 5 grandmothers say the F word, right? Just yell bingo.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to ponder. It's one of those riddles.
It's one of those things you're like, yeah, that could be either way.
It really could. Most of those nursery rhymes, and at least that one doesn't have like a messed up backstory. As far as I know, someone's going to like go into the comments and be like, yeah, no, Bingo was the farmer. And let's be honest, he wasn't the nicest to his dog. But you look at like Ring Around the Rosie, that's about the plague.
Yeah, I knew that.
And then there's so many messed up nursery rhymes that it's nice to have an innocent one about a farmer and his dog. And, you know, we lose some letters. It's fine. It's like reverse Hangman.
It's a dog with no name.
Hangman.
It's sad.
Hangman, that's another one.
It's sad.
Hangman's kind of a messed up game that we teach children.
It's a messed up song with the Allman Brothers. That's not what it's called, but the Hangman is a popular character in it.
All right, so
I've
got to ask. We're going to try and force this and make this happen. I need your predictions for weather.
Weather?
Is this going to be a good summer or a bad summer, Huck?
Well, I think first of all,
we need to define good and bad.
No. Yeah, well, kind of. But no, first of all, I think that the National Weather Service is just put their thing in a bad place by changing all the names. Okay. That's just asking for trouble. It's like we're going to have fewer names available. So what does that mean? We're going to have more hurricanes.
Well, last year they ran all the way through the alphabet. I mean, I think they skipped
in the Greek
Q,
alphabet,
but
about halfway through Greek
yeah,
alphabet.
they made it through the Greek
Yeah.
alphabet. Like, why are you limiting that? I don't know. I consider becoming AMS certified, the American Meteorological Society, and that was 4 hours of a Saturday. I just won't get back.
Did you learn anything?
Oh no, I didn't do it.
Oh,
That's
good.
4 hours of a
So-
Saturday.
so
I'm
if
not
you
getting back. I
wanna-
got my chiropractor's license instead.
If you want to know what's going on with the weather, especially hurricanes, you can look at Mike's weather page, spaghetti models. And every morning around 9:30, when I'm finally getting going, he comes on for an hour and talks about the weather, and I listen to him. I mean, some people, watch the Weather Channel, but they call him the drunk donkey weather. There was a weather person in Tampa, and they were predicting this hurricane to come right into Tampa. And Mike was out there saying, you know what, it's headed there, but that's not going to happen because of this trough, because he just studies on it personally. He goes, I'm not a weather person. And so this weather woman got on the news. She was all upset. She says, don't let some drunk donkey tell you that the storm's not coming, because the storm's coming. Of course, I have this whole theory about it's like, the COVID and whether we're getting the truth or not. I don't think they just pick a place and say it's coming here, and then like 9 times out of 10 the hurricane does not hit where everybody went running away from.
It's no different to me. Sorry to our fine weather crew. I love all of you, but it's no different to me than a palm reader.
I think palm readers can be more accurate.
Possibly, because palm readers are really good at reading people,
Right,
and what they want to hear.
right.
So that's literally what they do. Weathermen, it seems like, I can't confirm this with any scientific data, much like meteorology. I would like to see a fact check sheet where they start checking the weather report and seeing if what they reported was correct. Now, you see the storm's coming. It's a mile out. All right, that's fairly easy to predict. But if you're trying to predict things coming off the Great Lakes, there's a huge point where it could just shift and not hit the NRV.
Right. And the whole hurricane thing, I mean, I always laughed to myself. I've been studying hurricanes all my life because I'm a beach person and I'm a weather person, and I like to see tornadoes and stuff. So sometimes I try to. But the hurricanes, when they get to a certain size, then I don't care what you throw in front of them.
Yes.
If it wants to go a direction, it's going
gonna
that
go.
direction. I don't care. You can put a giant, I can't remember which one, might have been Camille, that, it's going to turn. No, it said, no, I'm not going to turn. I'm going to go right through Nelson County and try to drown
Going
the Huck.
straight on.
And almost did.
But there's a metaphor. Happier than a pig in mud. There's a less radio-friendly version that I'm not going to state here. But I really think that needs to be adapted and changed to happier than a weatherman in the midst of a snowstorm. There was a time, it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I was at my grandparents' house. They live in just outside of Charleston, West Virginia. And it must have been like April. And there was a sudden snowstorm. And they had not one, not two, but 3 weathermen anchoring the 6 o'clock news broadcast to just give live coverage of this snowstorm that amounted to like a half an inch.
Yeah, that was the one this winter where they said my female friend posted up, like, in the next morning they were supposed to get 6 inches overnight. And she goes, as usual, we were promised 6 inches and all we got was wet. So that's the thing about the weatherman. Sometimes he gets you all riled up and doesn't finish.
I feel bad for their wives.
They're bad. Yeah, me too. They're wrong more than half the time. More than half the time.
Easily. That has to be an accurate statistic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, we're using as much data as they're using.
It's not really their fault. It's just like people that are given simple solutions to climate change. There is no simple solution. This is such a complex thing.
I blame this on the people who are giving them money to do this.
Yes. Right now, there's a volcano somewhere in the Caribbean, I think, spewing ash. And that's going to affect the weather.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to affect the weather a lot. We might have a cooler summer if that thing keeps spewing ash. Can I say that on the radio?
Well, you did.
And it starts blowing over the United States. It's going to cool us down.
This is true.
So, yeah. So that's what I predict, that you can't predict the weather.
You cannot.
That's what I predict.
What you can predict is on Brewsday Tuesday, we're going to talk about beer and whatever the hell else we feel like.
Well, we got yelled at for having a theme on Beerster.
We did.
So
JT, not a fan of the low-hanging fruit that was Beerster.
Yeah, maybe we said a few things about Jesus.
I think we did okay last week. He didn't say anything about 420.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I
that
thought
just proves it's getting mainstream.
That absolutely does. I can't wait to hear what he thinks about our theme this week. Still hazy,
but
springy summer beers.
And we really kind of never tied the banking back into that. But in any case.
Well, we're having fun here, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, that's the thing about the weather. The other thing about the weather, just if it's raining, go splash around in it, dance and singing in the rain. If it's not raining, go play.
Some of my favorite memories are in the rain.
Just remember, there's
pretty much every Floyd Fest I've been to. It's just poured at some point during the weekend.
So you're like sitting there and you're on your porch drinking a beer and it's thunderstorming, and you go, "This is terrible." There's some guy and gal up on top of the mountain hiking Appalachian Trail through that storm right now. So I'm going to try to do some trail magic this year.
All right.
So you go out and feed and water them.
I like it.
It is fun. It is fun.
All right. So we've got to talk about these beers before we go too far.
I think we've already gone too far.
I don't think we've gone far enough.
All right.
Time is a son of a bitch.
Time is of the essence. This is a pretty good beer. It definitely meets the criteria, and it's a Huck Session beer at 8.5% alcohol by volume. So if you put these two beers together, you got a couple of IPAs. Maybe we should mix them in a glass. We haven't done mixology. We need to do that. Beer cocktails. But anyway, I digress. The biggest thing on this bottle is the health warning. I don't know. It's
a bunch of crazy flowers and stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, Vestland is the name of this beer. Hazy Double by IPA by Bingo Beer Company. Ingo Beer Company. Ningo Beer Company. Go. Oh, there, I did it. I'm going to give it a 4.5. It's pretty good.
All right, that's not bad. You know what? Last segment, your OG Lemon Haze was a 4. Vestland a 4.5. No one's getting 5s today.
No 5s. I thought you gave a 5.
Did I? I don't.
Yeah, you gave a 5.
No. Oh, yes, I did. It's a beta. I'm a sucker for a beta. All right. Well, I gave out a 5. I'm not doing it again. Stone Never Ending Haze IPA. Not a bad beer, actually. But that 4% ABV, that's going to stick in my craw. Delicious beer.
Where exactly is your craw? Anyway, I continue. I'm sorry, I digress.
Okay, the hat area. I guess. I don't know. Okay. I'll do some research.
I thought it was in the throat area.
That makes sense as well.
If it's going to stick in there.
I'm going to have to. Either way, I'm irritated. 4% is way too low for an IPA.
I decree no beers under 6%.
We're not in Utah. Still really solid, delicious, not necessarily worth the calories. If you're going to just drink one, go for it. 4.75.
Well, you got a pretty high score for hating on the 4.
That's the only thing holding it back. Stone Never Ending Haze IPA.
Stone makes
pretty damn delicious.
Good beer.
As far as bang for your buck goes, they need to reanalyze the process.
We could throw a shot of vodka in there.
There we go. That's what we have to do. And then maybe it hits that 5. But then we have to give partial credit to the vodka distiller. And that's a whole nightmare.
We don't want to hear from them.
On Untapped, he's Huck's Beer Buzz. I am Horror Show. This has been another edition of Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store.